Usually I would not expect a 42-year-old quarterback in a game that is over to run toward the defensive player with the ball in an effort to make a tackle, but there was an extra incentive there. Aaron Rodgers is now dealing with the very real possibility that his final NFL pass will have been a pick six. The man who is more sensitive to the touchdown to interception ratio than any quarterback has ever been could be wearing on his permanent record final pass pick six. So he tried to make that tackle to keep it from happening. It failed, and that was that. Whether that's it for Aaron Rodgers remains to be seen. It may be that was his final act in Pittsburgh. It could be it was his final act ever as an NFL quarterback. These are all things to be determined in the coming weeks and months, Devin.
Yeah, man, and it was rough to see, I think, that ending to the game because it's the reality of all these great quarterbacks. I remember 2019, Tom's last game in Foxborough. I think for the most part, everyone knew and felt like Tom would keep playing, but it felt like that was the end of his time in Foxborough. And if you've ever heard of Logan Ryan, everywhere he goes, he tells a story about how he intercepted Tom Brady for his last pass in Foxborough, and it was the same kind of ending. And I think Troy hit on it last night, too, when Troy Aikman said, like, you don't get to write the ending. Like, very rarely does it end the way you want. And he brought up John Elway of being one of those rare situations where you want one more year, you go, you win the Super Bowl, and you ride off in the sunset. But very rarely does that happen for some of the all-time greats. So I think the truth of the matter is, yeah, we'll talk about that throw, and maybe it's his last throw, but he's had so many incredible plays and throws that once you put some time between it, we'll talk about those more than we'll even talk about this 1 year in Pittsburgh, if that is the end. But incredible career and what he's done. But the ending, and they even said it last night in the broadcast of the reality of, man, there was a point in time where, Aaron Rodgers goes and he wins the Super Bowl back in 2010. And it was, how many will he get? And the competitive, nature and the competition between him and Peyton Manning and Brady and Drew Brees and these guys all vying to get Super Bowls in the same era. And that was the only time we've ever seen Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. And I think as good as he was, I always bring back, because of my time in New England, it was the difference of having this great culture with this unbelievable head coach and a great quarterback that made the difference in being in, multiple Super Bowls and winning multiple Super Bowls. But that's how, he'll be remembered. One of the best to ever throw a football, to do that time and time again, and, unbelievable career.
Well, let's put it in this light. Your rookie year was 2010, right?
Yep.
Am I right? Was it 2010? Okay. That's the last year Aaron Rodgers went to the Super Bowl. That's the last year Mike Tomlin went to the Super Bowl. Since then, correct me if I'm wrong here, again, 5 Super Bowls for the Patriots with Belichick and Brady? Were there 5 that you guys went to? Am I missing one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope,
5. They haven't been there once. Rodgers and Tomlin haven't been there once. So that's part of the path. Now, Rodgers is still first ballot, drop the mic, walk-in Hall of Famer. And that touchdown to interception ratio, one of the reasons he loves it so much is it's so good for him. 527 touchdown passes, 123 interceptions. That's incredible. That's incredible. And he's got a very low number of pick sixes, but he's not going to want, because he's as much as he tries to act like he doesn't care, he does care. He cares about appearances. He cares what people think. Now, as of a few years ago, he took that heel turn where suddenly he doesn't care what people think, but for a long time, he cares what people thought. And I think as it relates to his football achievements, he cares about the stats. He cares about the numbers. He cares about the things that people will point to make the argument that he's better than Tom Brady, and that if he had been the Patriots quarterback, they would have won all those Super Bowls and more. Now, I don't think he would have been able to coexist with Bill Belichick. Maybe Bill Belichick would have modified his approach to deal with and tiptoe around Aaron Rodgers and not call him out in meetings and piss him off and work with him and get the most out of those abilities. But he is one of the great quarterbacks of all time. And now we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. 42 years old. And for the Steelers, the first question is, because I think there's a chance he returns. And he was talking recently about how in the second year with Matt LaFleur, he was so much better because he knew the offense. Maybe he would be even better next year. And 3,300 passing yards was his lowest by 500 yards in a full season as a starter. But the first question is, will Mike Tomlin be back? Because I think if Tomlin's not there, Aaron Rodgers will not be there either. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.